This changed everything for me. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our fourth Insta Live of this particular series around the 5 elements of intimacy. Today, we're going to talk about vulnerability. Hello, thank you for joining. Thank you, everybody. So we are going to talk about the fourth element, which is vulnerability. Vulnerability is often misidentified as a weakness. It's misidentified as something that's a wrongness, and then people will tell you, "Don't be vulnerable. Protect yourself. If you're going to be vulnerable, then you will be hurt. If you're going to be vulnerable, then people will attack you. If you're going to be vulnerable, then people will take advantage of you. They will use you." These are all the points of views that are around vulnerability. But let's look at it from a different aspect. Vulnerability is really that space where your power lies, your potency lies, your difference lies. It's a space where you have no barriers, and you're willing to show up as the brilliance of you. You're willing to show up without an image, without a mask, without the need to make people like you or to make people not judge you, but to actually be the transparency of who you be, while being totally aware of everything that could create. So so when I say when I talk about vulnerability with you here, it's not about you go and bare yourself everywhere you go and you be like, "Oh, I'm being vulnerable." No, it's not about that. It's really about the energy of where you know that a mask or an image will simply stop you from receiving the power and the potency of who you be. Vulnerability is a space of where you can show up with your wounds, with your scars, without the need to without the need to protect yourself, because there is no judgment of the wounds and scars. Yet you have the awareness that if wind blows, or if someone tries to hurt my scar or my wound, I will stop them. So it's a space of where you're like an open wound. Yet you know that if anyone tries to touch you or touch the open wound, you will hit them, you will hit their hand away and make sure, or you push your hand away and make sure you don't get touched. That is a space of vulnerability. And friends, when you're willing to be that vulnerability in relationships, when you're willing to be that vulnerability with money, when you're willing to be that vulnerability with your business or with your body, once again, you see it for what it is. You do not have the need to see it from behind filtered glasses or from colored lenses. You actually look at it for what it is, and you look at yourself for who you are. When you see yourself for who you are, you see the quote unquote the good and the bad. Not from a space of judgment, but from a space of what could actually create for me here. What power do I have that I'm not willing to acknowledge is a power that I have been judging as wrong? Because the power that you come into this planet with, friends, is often the difference of who you be. And the difference of who you be is what brings the judgments into your world, because people will judge you for the difference that you are. They will kind of validate you for the sameness that you are as theirs. But if they see a difference in you and they don't get it, they'll be like, "Gosh, she's so weird." But what if that is where your power lies? And every time that you try to escape from that power, or every time you try to put an image or a mask up so people don't get to see that power, guess what? You suppress that power. So now you don't have access to that power either. So one of the questions that you can ask is, what vulnerability can I be with this? Say, for instance, you're looking at your business and it's not bringing in the clients, or it's not bringing in the projects, and it's not bringing in what you would like it to create for you. Instead of going to judgment of the business, instead of going to my business is wrong and I need to fix it, and let me see why it's not working, and you go to the why and the how, instead of going there, ask what vulnerability can I be with the business that has me receiving the information of what requires to be changed. Now, when you don't have a judgment of your business not being right, or not bringing you the money that you're actually asking it to, or the clients that you would like it to bring you, you're actually looking at the business and asking, what contribution can I be for you? And what you judge will always, always, always destroy itself. And what you are an allowance of, what you are willing to be vulnerable with, will give you clarity with what's really required. Because when you ask from a judgment of, let me see what's going on wrong with my business, and now let me see how to fix it, you're coming from a judgment to fix the wrongness into a rightness. But when you're coming from vulnerability with your business, you're actually asking your business to show you what requires to be changed. And it could be something totally random, which you've not even looked at. And you could be like, oh, that's what's required to change. So when you ask a question like this, you don't go looking for the answer. You actually ask the question, and then you allow the awareness to show up. Awareness is not controlled by time. Awareness is not controlled by the how. So there is no when and there is no how that can be attached to awareness. Awareness just is. It could come to you instantly, and it could take a few days. So ask the question. If you don't get the awareness, ask it again and ask it again. And be vulnerable with your business. And I'm talking about a business here. It could also be with a relationship, where you're struggling in a relationship, maybe with your spouse or with a friend or with your kids, and you're like, how do I change this? And you come from a space of, how do I change this? Is coming from a space of, there's something wrong with my relationship, so how do I change this? Now, once again, you're coming from a judgment of your relationship. You're not being vulnerable with your relationship. You're being in judgment of your relationship. So how do we change that? Is by simply asking, what vulnerability can I be here with this relationship? What vulnerability can I be here that can have this change? Now, vulnerability requires you to also receive where you are not being the energy of greatness in the relationship, where you are choosing from right and wrong. It will give you the information, it will give you the clarity of what's really going on. So now when you look at the relationship and you ask, what vulnerability can I be here with this relationship that can have it grow? You're actually asking the universe to show you what's required, instead of you trying to fix what you've decided is wrong about your relationship. So that, my friends, is the fourth of the 5 elements of intimacy. And like I mentioned earlier, we do have a deep dive of 3 hours coming up, where we will explore all the 5 elements of intimacy. We will explore, we will have questions, we will share tools that can actually have you create way more ease with relationships, not just with people, but with yourself, with your body, with business, with money, with kids, with everybody around you and everything around you, with your homes. And we do have a 3-hour class coming up, and we also have a book club. So if you would like to join us just for the book club, feel free to text me. If you would like to join us for both, feel free to text me. I look forward to seeing you. And yes, our 4th call will be tomorrow, of the 4th element of the 5 elements of intimacy, and then will be the 5th one. So see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.